The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation for a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, a matchup that has sparked intense debate among fans, fighters, and analysts. This clash pits two of the sport's pound-for-pound elites against each other, with Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, facing Crawford, a four-division world champion looking to make history by jumping up two weight classes. The conversation around this fight is layered with questions about size, skill, strategy, and legacy, and opinions are sharply divided on who would emerge victorious. Crawford, often referred to as Bud, is widely regarded as one of the most technically gifted boxers of his generation. His undefeated record, razor-sharp ring IQ, and ability to adapt to any opponent have made him a formidable force in the welterweight and junior middleweight divisions. However, moving up to super middleweight to face Alvarez, who has dominated at 168 pounds, presents a significant challenge. The size disparity is a focal point of the discussion, with many arguing that Alvarez's natural weight advantage and experience against larger opponents give him the edge. Alvarez, known for his devastating power and relentless pressure, has faced and defeated fighters who rehydrate to nearly 200 pounds on fight night, despite not being a true 168-pounder himself. His ability to hurt and drop bigger men has solidified his reputation as a Mexican monster in the ring. The debate over who would win is fueled by contrasting views on Crawford's chances. Some, like Canelo's trainer Eddie Reynoso, are confident in Alvarez's ability to secure a knockout. Reynoso, speaking to Ali Seekbach of Sneeze, predicted a definitive stoppage, emphasizing Alvarez's superior power and experience at the weight. While acknowledging Crawford's skill, Reynoso dismissed concerns about Alvarez's recent lackluster performance against William Skull, where Canelo threw just 152 punches compared to Skull's 293. Critics called that fight boring, and Alvarez himself admitted it lacked excitement, but Reynoso insists that fans will see a different Canelo in September. He believes Crawford, despite being a tremendous and complete fighter, will be overwhelmed by Alvarez's physicality. On the other hand, some experts see a path to victory for Crawford. Former trainer Jeff Mayweather argues that Crawford's best chance lies in maintaining distance and avoiding a brawl. By leveraging his slick movement and boxing acumen, Crawford could frustrate Alvarez and capitalize on any mistakes. Trainer Derek Bozy Ennis shares this view, suggesting that controlling the pace and staying elusive could lead to an upset. Crawford's ability to fight intelligently and adapt mid-fight is well documented, but the question remains whether he can withstand Alvarez's power at a higher weight class. Roy Jones Jr., a boxing legend who once moved up to win a heavyweight title, leaned toward Alvarez but didn't rule out Crawford. Jones emphasized that if Crawford can handle Canelo's punches and impose his technical skills, he could pull off a historic win. However, Jones cautioned that Alvarez's power could disrupt Crawford's game plan, making it a high-stakes gamble. The size difference is a recurring theme in the discourse. Alvarez has thrived against naturally larger opponents, using his strength and body shots to wear them down. Crawford, meanwhile, has never fought above 154 pounds, and jumping to 168 without a tune-up fight has raised concerns. Many in the boxing community, including a long list of professionals, have urged Crawford to test himself against a super middleweight contender before facing Alvarez. The consensus is that Crawford's lack of experience at this weight could be his undoing, especially against a seasoned champion like Canelo. Yet, Crawford's mentality is that of a fearless competitor. Stories of his resilience, such as surviving a gunshot to the head and driving himself to the hospital, underscore his dogged determination. For Crawford, this fight represents a chance to cement his legacy as one of the all-time greats by doing something unprecedented. Not everyone is sold on the matchup's appeal. Former champion Rolando "Rolly" Romero, while acknowledging Crawford's talent, called him boring and questioned his entertainment value outside the ring. Romero, appearing on the Pound for Pound podcast, argued that weight divisions exist for a reason and dismissed Crawford's chances against Alvarez. He pointed out that even Manny Pacquiao, boxing's only 8-division champion, didn't jump 3 weight classes at once, though this claim overlooks Pacquiao's leap from flyweight to super bantamweight early in his career. Romero's critique extended to Crawford's resume, echoing sentiments from Ryan Garcia, who labeled Crawford an overhyped bum. Garcia, currently serving a doping ban, went as far as to challenge Crawford himself, claiming he could expose Bud's vulnerabilities. Garcia's comments, while brash, reflect a broader skepticism about Crawford's ability to compete at 168 pounds. Garcia's criticism of Crawford is particularly pointed. He argued that Crawford's signature win over Errol Spence Jr. came against a diminished opponent who had survived a car crash, and he downplayed Crawford's victory over Shawn Porter as a win over a washed fighter. Garcia insisted that Crawford hasn't faced anyone with significant firepower or generational talent, even suggesting that younger fighters like Jaron "Boots" Ennis would outclass him. While Garcia's remarks are colored by his controversial persona, they highlight a perception among some that Crawford's resume lacks the marquee names needed to justify a fight with Alvarez. Garcia's confidence in Alvarez stems from Canelo's physical advantages, as he believes weight classes matter and Crawford will be outmatched. Despite these detractors, Crawford's supporters argue that his skill set makes him a unique threat. His ability to switch stances, control range, and land precise counters could exploit flaws in Alvarez's game. Canelo's fight against Skull exposed vulnerabilities, including slower footwork and difficulty cutting off the ring. Crawford, with his elusive style, is well equipped to capitalize on these weaknesses, provided he can avoid getting caught by Alvarez's power shots. The contrast in styles, Crawford's finesse versus Alvarez's aggression, promises a fascinating tactical battle, even if the outcome hinges on physical attributes. Alvarez, for his part, has downplayed the significance of a win over Crawford, suggesting it would do little for his legacy. This stance has frustrated some fans who see the fight as a chance for Canelo to test himself against one of the best boxers of the era. Crawford, by contrast, is driven by the opportunity to prove doubters wrong and achieve something historic. Roy Jones Jr. drew parallels to his own career, recalling how he gave up 33 pounds to defeat John Ruiz for a heavyweight title in 2003. Jones believes Crawford's mindset mirrors his own, a desire to take on the biggest challenges, regardless of the odds. The fight's implications extend beyond the ring. A Crawford victory would be a seismic upset, potentially crowning him as the pound-for-pound king and rewriting boxing history. For Alvarez, a win would reinforce his dominance at super middleweight and silence critics who point to his recent performances as evidence of decline. The matchup has been called both the best fight ever and the boringest fight ever by Romero, reflecting the polarized views on its entertainment value. What's undeniable is that it would draw massive attention, pitting the pound-for-pound best of today against the pound-for-pound best of yesterday, as Jones put it. Strategic considerations will play a huge role. Crawford's camp will likely emphasize mobility and defense, aiming to tire Alvarez out over the later rounds. Alvarez, guided by Reynoso, will look to bully Crawford with pressure and bodywork, cutting off the ring to land his signature combinations. The weight limit will also be a factor. Crawford must bulk up strategically to compete at 168 without sacrificing speed, while Alvarez benefits from staying in his natural weight class. Jones advised Alvarez to remain at super middleweight, noting that his foray to 175 pounds against Dmitry Bivol was a misstep, as Bivol was in his prime compared to an aging Sergey Kovalev, whom Canelo defeated. The fan perspective adds another layer to the hype. Casual fans, unconcerned with weight classes, are drawn to the star power of Canelo versus Crawford. Hardcore fans, however, debate the nuances. Can Crawford's ring IQ overcome Alvarez's power? Will Canelo's experience at 168 trump Crawford's adaptability? The fight's announcement has already sparked a wave of reactions on platforms like X, with some praising Turkey Alashik for making big fights happen, while others question whether Crawford is biting off more than he can chew. Ultimately, the outcome may depend on which version of Canelo shows up. If he approaches the fight with the intent to box and outsmart Crawford, he risks playing into Bud's strengths. If he fights aggressively, looking to prove his dominance, he could overwhelm Crawford early. For Crawford, the challenge is to survive the early rounds, absorb Canelo's power, and turn the fight into a chess match. As Jones noted, if Crawford can take Alvarez's punch, he'll likely win. If not, Alvarez's prediction of a knockout could come to fruition. The boxing world awaits this mega fight with bated breath, knowing that regardless of the result, it will be a defining moment for both fighters. For now, Alvarez is focused on his immediate future, with names like William Skull and David Benavidez also in the mix. Crawford, meanwhile, remains steadfast in his pursuit of greatness, undeterred by the naysayers. Whether it's the best fight ever or a mismatch, Canelo versus Crawford is a collision of skill, heart, and ambition that promises to captivate the sport.